Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama. Let's give a round of applause to that.
As Mr. Mahama's name was announced, an uproar of jubilation at the NDC national head office. This landslide victory at the primaries establishes him as a strong contender to battle the governing NPP in the 2020 elections.
I'm deeply touched by the overwhelming endorsement I have received from the grassroots of our party. It is a call to duty, it is a call to action, it is a call to battle.
Out of the over 260,000 votes cast by NDC delegates across 275 constituencies, the former president polled 213,487 votes, representing a whopping 95.24%. Mr. Mahama, who says he's deeply touched by the overwhelming victory, believes his triumph marks the beginning of the party's journey to the seat of government again. The former president was in the race with 6 others. All of them have pledged to work to ensure the party's victory come 2020. Sylvester Mensah believes the margin of victory recorded by the former president makes it impossible to challenge the election even if he wanted to.
With a victory margin, every complaint fails into insignificance, and all issues of infractions that we have complained about obviously fails into insignificance.
Gusi Tano, a man who first stood to be president in the year 2000 on the ticket of an NDC breakaway group, the Reform Party, says he is prepared to help when he is called upon.
I've always worked with the party. I've always supported the party. I've always helped the party. And I'll continue to do so.
You talk about the party, but I'm talking about John Mahama.
Well, he's the leader of the party, so working for the party, I presume, is working for, indirectly, working for the leader.
Echo Spiogabra, he too a serial contender for the NDC flag-bearer slot, said the contest has helped strengthen the party for the 2020 election.
We've actually played a very important role as aspirants in improving the party's own capacity for assembling data.
Professor Joshua Alabi, a man who was tipped to be Mr. Mahama's biggest threat after his terrible showing, also says he is ready to work with the party's campaign.
Well, I congratulated him. He has someone I have to congratulate. I'm a sportsman. And I told you that the gap was too much. We shouldn't have gone to that level.
NDC longtime bigwig Alban Bagbin and newcomer Nuruddin Idrisu, both from the Upper West region, also did not make any significant show at the poll, but have both pledged to support the party.
Tonight, I want to serve notice to Ghana. The NDC is poised for victory in 2020.
Mr. Mahama is a man of many firsts. When he lost the 2016 election, he became this republic's first one-term president, and in December 2020, he would be the first ex-president to stand for election again. With 92.24% of his party's people throwing their weight behind him to stand again, come 2020, win or lose, he certainly has shown that he won't be a pushover.
All right, so that's a wrap of activities on Saturday as John Dramani Mahama came through with some 213,407 votes, representing some 95.23% of the vote cast. Roland, I want us to talk about the fact that Professor Joshua Alabi, a lot of people thought he was going to be such a strong candidate in this race. There's also Alban Bagbin. At least these two persons we thought were going to be impressive on the day, but they came very poor.
Yes, and it is because of the type of activity and the engagement prior to the primary itself. If you take particular look at the itinerary of Professor Joshua Alabi, he had visited almost every nook and cranny of Ghana. He had been in touch with the various delegates, if not the party officials, from the branch level up to the regional levels. And each of the regions that he went, or the constituencies, there were in-depth discussions as well as engagement and interactions that he undertook with people who mainly will be part of the delegate list, so to speak. And ultimately, it gave people the mindset that they can make those conclusions on assertions, or to say that Professor Joshua Alabi was somebody who was a grassroots man and that he had been widely accepted. But you remember Sir John, he said you have to fear delegates. The thing is, it looks like they have the courtesy to give you that respect when you come and you meet with them. They give you those assurances. But at the end of the day, they decide who they go and vote for. And the reasons they ascribe to them is only known to them. The reasons that they ascribe to them, which we all don't know, they get to show at the end of the period of voting in the number of votes that one gets. Professor Joshua Alabi, if you look at the efforts that he put in, you look at the resources he may have spent, you also look at the manpower organization that his team was able to galvanize. It also gives a certain indication that, I mean, in the absence of John Mahama, perhaps he could have done better than he did.
So is it all about the money? You know? Is it all about the resources that you have? Or the people simply didn't want to change after all? It was just the whole hype.
Well, it looks like the people wanted to go with who they thought would be best marketable, somebody they had known, etc. And we shouldn't mince words to say that if you speak to some people close to the Mahama camp, they will tell you that it's not everything that he did that was on radio and TV. Apparently, he had visited, we're told, all the constituencies in Ghana. He had met most of the delegates, if not all the delegates, or the party leaders, or those are
again, because that's because he's got the resources to do that.
Yes, he indeed has a resource to do all that, and we don't have to kid ourselves. Putting together party activities, whether at the primary level or when ultimately you become the flag bearer, it's a lot of money. And both the MPP and NDC, some of us have been close to some of the individuals who had wanted to become either presidential candidates or presidential candidates. And so you get to know that even to organize one event at a constituency center is no joke. They don't give money to the members or the delegates who come. I'm not sure anybody has been able to do that. What they did, though, was provide them with transport, maybe food. If somebody has to stay somewhere overnight, they are able to help with that, but they physically would not give money because we're talking delegates in excess of some 220,000. That's a lot of people. And I'm not sure that anybody in his right frame of mind would devote some millions of Ghana cedis just to do that. It is, when we're talking about the logistics, it is the putting together of the manpower, the effort itself, and the human resource to do that. All that takes money. If you have to bring somebody who is instructive in the party, is respected, you have to accommodate the person. You're not paying. You may not pay for the person's transport, but maybe you pay for an accommodation, or you give something for fuel, or you provide some T-shirts. You do this.
So money is instrumental.
Yeah, it's instrumental, but we don't have to cocoon ourselves to think that maybe John Mahama has that amount of money in his bank account or something. But the fact that he's been a presidential candidate before, he's been a president before, he will be in a better position to pool those resources than the others who were either appointees of him or President Mills or had worked in various facets of public life.
Yeah,
and that's what party organization is all about.
Yeah. You know, ahead of Saturday's election, there were some allegations here and there. There were issues also with the voter register itself. And these concerns, some people thought, may be a point of dispute after the election proper was held. But maybe not surprising, all the other candidates came through with their concession speeches. I want us to take a listen to, you know, how they all conceded to this.
validated him. He has sworn out to convert. I'm a sportsman. So he was very happy. We smiled, we joked, we knew each other for some time, so we joked a little bit and we smiled. And I told him that the gap was too much. We shouldn't have gone to that level. I told him that the margin was too because it wasn't good. What is it? The margin was
Did you expect this margin? Did you expect this defeat?
That's why I told you. I didn't expect this margin. My expectation was that I was going to win. And I didn't win, and look at the margin. So but I did my work well. I did all what the money possible within my capability. I did that. I went around the whole country. I came straight from the university as a vice chancellor. Then within a month, I started this program. I've been all the same for a while. That is quite true. So I needed to see how best I could market myself and let my people accept me. And so I did a lot of work. I kept in a lot of effort with my team. And indeed, the result that I got, and I have to accept it because I prepared very well, and the delegates decided otherwise. That is it, we move forward. It's a project close, we look at the next project.
Does the result surprise you?
Well, it surprised me, but again, like I said, this is what they want. And once they want it, we just take it that way.
What do you think went wrong, in spite of the fantastic campaign and the ground game you laid out?
In fact, I'm yet to sit with my team. We just having a nice chat now, quarreling over some 2 bottles of beer. And later on we'll sit and analyze it properly, because we believe we did a very good job. We went around the country, we gave our message, we did a good PR for ourselves, but the result was not exactly what we wanted. So we need to sit properly and then analyze it. It's always good to make an appraisal of your performance, and then if given another opportunity, you know what to do next. So we are okay. We are happy. The bottom line is that our party is going to move forward. That's all.
We thought here, analyzing the results.
With a victory margin, every complaint fails into insignificance, and all issues of infractions that we have complained about obviously fails into insignificance. If the margin had been much closer, one could have cause to complain. But as it is, I think that it is just reasonable and sensible to appreciate that we have a winner. I sent him a text, and I called. We had a very useful chat. We had a long chat. Yes. And I congratulated him.
Did the outcome surprise you at all?
Oh, no. I expected to perform far, far better than this. Of course, who goes into a contest hoping and praying that one would lose? I went in hoping to win, and this is the outcome. Of course, our delegates have never been wrong. I've always respected the views, choices, and preferences of our delegates, and I have no reason to have to worry and doubt the outcome of this primary. Our delegates have spoken loudly, loud and clear, and there's a clear winner.
What do you think may have gone wrong for the campaign?
I don't think there's a time to begin a prognosis. There's not a time to diagnose what has gone wrong. What is certainly clear as we speak today is that the margin of victory is so wide that it is absolutely unuseful to want to go into any critical diagnosis.
What next for Sly, Sylvester Mensah?
Or to the extent that one has life, and to the extent that the party continues, there's always a role to play. The party is so huge, there's so much work to be done, and there's so much that Sylvester and every other member of the party can do.
Well, so we had those speeches, more like concession speeches from those individuals who contested alongside John Dramani Mahama, the ultimate winner. And we have to say John Dramani Mahama garnered some 95.2 2-3% of the vote. But what do the political analysts think about it, Mawabi?
We have Dr. Isaac Owusu-Mensah, a political scientist with the University of Ghana, joining us via phone to do some analysis on this. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Ma. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Can you explain to us, I mean, the figures that John Mahama got, does it represent anything nationally?
Thank you very much. I think that if you look at the trend as it came from period 2020, it shows that there's huge endorsement and there's huge unity on the part of the delegates as to the fact that former president should be the candidate of the party. And so far, the information I have, apart from Kalio Nadoli constituency, I think he won all the other constituencies across the country. And I think that is a very good united front that the party has presented. Winning 95.23% is a very strong message that the party delegates is sending to all of them that, look, we have to be united and we have to forge ahead as a political party.
And the other candidate, at least we thought they were going to do better than they did. Is that a surprise to you?
Yeah, it's a surprise to me because if you continue listening to me, I think all the studies that we have done, we never gave him that amount of percentage. Of course, every Ghanaian knew that former president was going to win, and our latest poll that we did, I think had about 78. So getting this amount, that is 95, is a surprising thing. And the surprising thing to me is not because he has won so much. I also thought that somebody like Theo will be able to get at least 5%. But it's unfortunate that none of them was able to make up to 5%. It also means that going forward, if President Mahama did not win the next election, or even if you win the next election, it means that whoever becomes the candidate for the NDC is still open. It's completely open to whoever is interested can also win the election at the end of the day. Because if you look at it or compare that with the MPP, it was very clear that if Nana was not going, Alan was a possible candidate. But in the case of the NDC, there's no signal as to who will be the next candidate going forward.
But with the kind of numbers that they got, is it still clear that if John Mahama is not standing any longer, then you can call on Professor Joshua Alabi or Alban Gbagbin, for instance? What they recorded, is it that significant that we can emphatically say that they are next in line, if you like?
I think, as you heard me earlier on, Nadoli Kalio, that constituency where he is a member of parliament, Honorable Alban Gbagbin, won that constituency. So that is where he comes from. And that has no political significance, number one. The case of Joshua Alabi, yes, he tried to make a form of impression, but it is still insignificant. As I indicated, I'm still emphatic that the NDC the NDC candidature for the presidency is still open to whoever is interested. The surprising thing to me was Mr. Yogaba. I was expecting that he will be the second in line, having contested earlier on and having shown a lot of, if you want, presence and visibility on the ground. We are all expecting for him to be the next in line, but now he's no more than next in line.
Do you see the rest of the candidates coming around the table and joining the Mahama campaign?
I think they have no option but to do that. Because one, you are insignificant. Two, you must show some form of support so that in the event that NDC comes to power, you have some constituency to represent at the end of the day. So I think they have no option but to come together and support Mahama's camp.
What would be their contribution specifically? I mean, should we expect that they will mount the campaign platform with John Mahama, or they would have their own campaign ongoing alongside?
I think they will have their own. They should be given some responsibilities and assignment going forward in order for them to be able to contribute towards the campaign. But also, their mounting the platform is very important to show the sense of unity that the party has been campaigning over the years. So I think that is very important. They must be fully on board if they want to be recognized for future elections.
Should a running mate come out of these 6, do you think?
That will provide some form of strengthening the unity that they have been fighting for over the years. But some of them geographically are not qualified to be running mates. For instance, Honorable Abambabe, there's no way he can be a running mate for the NDC because he's also from the north. And as you know very well, in this country over the years, the north-south ticket has always been doing the trick, with the exception of President Lawrence over the years. But beyond that, all the time, there's been north-south. So Babin is out. Joshua Alabi, I think, have some contribution he can make. I don't foresee Pio becoming a running mate for President John Mahama going forward at all.
The people who are pointing at him getting a woman to be the running mate, what's your own take on that?
That is important. Getting a running mate, a woman can be of help. But ask yourself, which woman is coming on board and what is the fellow bringing on board? That is very important. You know, you choose a running mate, or if you want vice presidential candidate, for a number of reasons. The vote that the fellow can bring on board, and the vote in terms of religion, the vote in terms of geography, the vote in terms of economic background. All these are factors that you have to put into consideration in order to bring a woman on board. One, has the woman gotten a very significant constituency? That is important. If you're able to establish all these things and it falls on the woman, and I think that will be a very good one. But going forward now, I don't think that looking at the NDC, the people that we have now as for the representing the female caucus of the party, I have not identified any specific one who can make that amount of contribution, because you are going to battle with the new patriotic party, and therefore everybody coming on board must have significant role to play. And so far, I have not identified anyone yet.
You're a political watcher. Does this win by former President John Dramani Mahama signify the beginning of the campaigning for the 2020 election? Is it official now?
Yes, I think it's official now, because for the NPP, the president has indicated that he is interested in contesting. And the main candidate for him now is the NDC candidate. So now that President Mahama has been officially, because previously everybody knew he was the one going to be, but officially he's the candidate, I think is the real beginning of the 2020 campaign.
Can we say from the, and you alluded to that, that, you know, this win, the way the election was run, signified some kind of unity within the NDC. On the larger scale, can we conclude that the NDC is united for 2020?
Yes, I think the NDC is united for 2020. You know, there is no political party that you can get 100% everybody supporting you. Not in the US, in the UK, Australia, or Germany. So given the way that he has won from the delegates, I think NDC is united now to go for the battle for 2020.
I guess what we wait to see is his popularity nationally, because it's emphatic within the party itself.
Yes, my sister, I have not changed my mind when it comes to his popularity nationally, because the information we have doesn't come from me as a council minister. It comes from the voters in the street. And the fact is that Mahama's in the 2020 election does not depend on him. It depends on the performance of the new patriotic party.
If you say it depends on the performance of the new patriotic party, then I guess it translates to if they perform poorly, then he has a greater chance.
Exactly the point. Because, you know, people voted for NPP in order for NPP to deliver certain developmental issues. Going to 2020 election, no matter the strategy, no matter the campaign NDC will put up, if NPP performs very well, NPP has a better chance. However, even if NDC does not put up a very strong campaign, very strong strategies, the NPP performs poorly, NDC has a stronger chance of coming to power in 2020.
So as you've been watching, how well is the NPP doing? For instance, one of the promises they made was to arrest the city. What we know is that if the city was arrested in the first place, then it's broken jail like a long time ago, because the number is not looking good at all. One of the other promises was the free SHS. That was quite popular. But if you look at the CD and other things, would you say that they are on track, they're performing?
When it comes to their performance, different people have different ways by which they assess the performance of the government. And therefore, people who have economic indicators, some will have educational indicators, some will have job indicators. So many factors will come into consideration at the end of the day. So I would say that the fall in value of the city, as you have said, that me sitting in Accra here is complaining especially about. My mother in the village may not be thinking about that. Or somebody in Pasimpe may not be thinking about the value of the city, but he may be thinking about the fact that his son or his daughter is going to school free. So different parts of the country have different ways by which they will assess how the government is performing. But as I've indicated, and which the election came to show us, the two parties are all not very popular with Ghanaians now.
Well, yes, please go ahead.
What I was saying was that from our 2 years of assessment of the government, it shows that NPP is dropping in votes, NDC is also dropping in votes. So the two parties all have a lot of work to do in order to convince, one, Ghanaians to go and cast their vote, and two, to explain to them why they should vote for them. So going to 2020 election, the two parties have a lot of work to do to convince Ghanaians why they must be voted for.
Are we simply tired of them, or we just don't trust their promises?
One, the promises is one thing, and two, we're also being tired of every time, every radio station you open, everybody is accusing the other for doing this or not doing that. And this is something that irritates Ghanaians as well.
All right. What should be? Should we expect any form of reaction from the NPP with this emphatic endorsements of John Dramani Mahama?
Oh yes, we should expect their reaction, and I'm sure the first reaction will be before he became the candidate for NDC for 2016 election. He also had emphatic endorsement for SP to say, because so they will say that there is nothing new. If you want to put it in that context, you can say there's nothing new, and they will even say that if other candidates had won, they would have been afraid. So this is what you expect every political party to say.
But
very well.
Yeah, but is that really true? Because we've heard them say that, oh, if John Mahama comes, then that will be an easy win for us. We're hoping that another person would come and give us a tough race. But is it really true? Seeing that John Mahama is also well marketed, he's very popular.
Thank you very much. I have not heard that because over the weekend I've been busy with so I've not followed up what the MP say. But as I said, as a podcast, what I said is exactly what every political party will do. And I'm sure they will say that it will even be comparison of 4 years of NPP and comparison of NDC. And that is how they will campaign. But of course, Mahama is a popular candidate as far as the country is concerned. He has been a former president. And as a former president, he must have done good to some people. And of course, some people will also be happy. So certainly he has a constituency you cannot downplay with.
All right. We'll leave it here and continue later. Thank you so much for the analysis this morning. That's Dr. Isaac Owusu-Mensah. He's a political scientist with the University of Ghana, Legon, helping us appreciate some of the matters behind last Saturday's election within the NDC. Roland.
I think what I would have loved to know from him, whether the changing demographics of the Ghanaian voter population could also have indication on how they tend to assimilate the policy options that are proposed by the individuals who want to contest, and whether, based on their own assessment of that demographic, they also have a better understanding of whether promises that are made could be feasible or not. Because if a fool is being fooled, the fool knows that I'm being fooled. And those are some of the permutations perhaps we need to take going into the 2020 elections, because you look at voters now, and even within the parties, it looks like they are more decisive and discerning, and they are more assertive. And we shouldn't kid ourselves. The 95% based on the voter population that John Mahama got the last time around is not the same voter population this time. It's an expanded one.
True.
This one is coming from communities who have different needs. And you get to find that people are physically not afraid to get associated with the political parties. And so you get to find that even though the cameras of the various news stations were at the polling stations, they were not afraid to declare themselves members of the NDC to be in queues and go and vote. It also shows that people are becoming more confident about the association with the political parties. And then also they are becoming more confident about what their beliefs in the electoral ideologies, if there are any, are. And we have to take cognizance of that fact. And if that is a sign that our democracy and the dispensation we're practicing is growing, then it doesn't pale into significance at all, what the argument will be.
All right, we'll bring you back the speech delivered by John Dramani Mahama, who is officially the flag bearer of the NDC after his election on Saturday. When we come back, our colleague Joseph Akable will join us. The Commission of Inquiry looking into the violence, the Ayawaso West Wagon by-election violence, will be continuing sitting today. They were on break for the State of the Nation. Okay, not exactly that, but they were on break. They are back today. Who should we expect to come before the Commission? Joseph has got all the details to share with us. First is John Dramani Mahama.
Let me say that I have officially received phone calls of congratulations from all my 6 fellow aspirants. I want to thank everyone here tonight. We're celebrating the great climax of the reorganization of our party after the elections of 2016. The overwhelming endorsement of our party is a signal that our efforts over the last 2 years have not been in vain. The process has been rigorous and tiring, beginning with an analysis and fact-finding mission to explore the reasons for our election loss in 2016, which was carried out by the now famous Kwesi Botwe Committee and resulting in the Kwesi Botwe Committee report. From there, we started a re-registration of all our members at the branch level. And then we began the arduous task of reorganization. And this came from the branch level to the constituency level, to the regional level, and then to the national level when we held Congress in November last year at the Trade Fair Center. This presidential primary is the climax of that reorganization effort. We have had a rigorous process and we have had to have patience for it, because in order to get it right, we needed to be patient and make sure that we cover every stone and make sure that we do not leave any portion uncovered. But I must say it's been a fulfilling journey and our patience has borne fruit. This result that we have heard announced by the Electoral Commission today is dedicated to all of us, members of the NDC party. It is from our ordinary supporters who were not delegates but had an interest in who eventually emerged and therefore used all the influence at their disposal to put pressure on the delegates to make sure that the right choice was made. It is dedicated to our branch executives, so many of them across the country, more than 270,000 of them at every polling station branch, who have worked tirelessly to see us reach this stage. It is to all the constituency executives that I met in my rounds across the country who have also worked tirelessly. It is to the regional chairmen and their executives, and then also to our national executives who just were appointed in November last year, but have immediately taken control of the party and steered it to such a successful conclusion. I wish to assure the executives at all these levels that I will work closely with you and tirelessly with all of you so that our common objective of returning our party back into power will be achieved. I salute all our executives. This victory is dedicated to you. And it is my hope that in the current environment, we will work together and eschew all attempts to divide us. Because in the business of politics, we know what happens. Let us be one. Let us trust each other, and let us not believe the kinds of stories that will be circulated, creating an impression that one is trying to undermine the other. And once we build this trust, I'm sure that we will be successful. I said when I came around all our constituencies.
And that's the flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama.